Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the analysis of the third key test match at Lord's, which is just completed. So we're just going to go through the main points and the features. It certainly was an enthralling test match over the 5 days. I've never witnessed a full house at Lord's on the fifth day as we did on this occasion on a Monday. It looks like all the supporters, particularly all the Indian supporters, switched from SW19 and ended up in NW8 on a Monday with the play going into the third session, match finishing around 5 o'clock. So they certainly got their money's worth in terms of the £20 tickets which were available. A lot of the supporters probably left the ground very frustrated and disappointed. During the 5 days, I feel India certainly had their moments and should have won the game, but it's a case of missed opportunities.
Yeah, it was a brilliant test match. Like the back and forth. The key thing was they got scores level, 387. England batting first for once, and India did the same. And psychologically, as you always say, just even to get a 2-run lead would have made a difference, because England went into the changing room overnight with a 2-run lead. I don't remember how Zach Crawley got those 2 runs. So psychologically, it's a case. It's the same mistakes again. India having a mini collapse. They were in the driver's seat. The key turning point was Pant's run out, unnecessary. So talk to me about that key moment.
The key moment was when India were chasing first innings, England's total of 387. I remember just before lunch, Pant and Rahul were batting, with Rahul trying to get his 100 and Pant trying to help him. And just before the last over, before lunch, the score was around about 250 for 5. Pant was trying to help Rahul, trying to get his 100 before the lunch, forgetting that these are 2 senior Indian players who were batting at the time, and they didn't need to take that 1 run which they wanted to take to get Rahul to his 100. And that was a huge turning point, I believe, where this match turned in favour of England, because it was Stokes who ran out Pant, and suddenly from 250 for 5, India were then 250 for 6, and they left the door open. And I remember India then got to a key partnership and even got to 360 for 6. So they were only at this stage 17 or 18 runs behind. But as usual, the last 4 wickets fell very cheaply. And at one point, India, I felt, could have got a lead of 50 or 60 runs, but I'm afraid that did not happen. And the scores were level after the first innings. And with India failing to get the lead, I think that was also a key turning point. And at the end of the match, when you analyse the 63 extras and this key run out, I think that's made the considerable difference here. It was disappointing that both Jaiswal and Shubman Gill failed in this particular test match and didn't deliver in terms of the runs. Frustrations from that point of view.
Yeah, it was a brilliant run out by Stokes, though. He said in his post-match interview it was just based on instinct, and he saw Rishabh hesitating, and that's what enabled him to throw it at his end rather than KL's. But I agree with you. I don't know why they felt the need to get the 100 before lunch. It makes no. I get their point of view. They wanted to just get it so they can get it over and done with. But it's not really worth the risks or something they can learn from. I'm very disappointed with it. As much as I love KL, he's a proper batsman and he takes his time. I'm very disappointed with his 50 performance. He was a key man and he got out on 39, and he should have kept going. Jaddu played brilliantly, 61 not out. If KL was in with Jaddu, they could have saw them home.
Well, you only needed another batsman to get a 50-run partnership with Jadeja, and I'm afraid that didn't happen because Rahul was the second highest scorer at 39. So, it was disappointing to see that England managed to chase 380 Headingley, winning the game, and India were unable to chase a score half of that, which is 192, on a Lord's wicket where I felt they were in control and the opportunities were there, but I'm afraid they messed up. Shubman Gill in particular, second innings, they started off well and got early wickets for England, but I'm not sure what he was trying to do when he was trying to change a ball which was 63 balls, 10 overs old, and frankly I think he messed up, and that decision backfired because Bumrah was bowling really well, picked up a few key wickets. The ball was swinging around the corners, and suddenly he goes to the umpire and says, ball's gone out of shape, can we change the ball? And this is where I think the umpires, in particular Paul Rifle, who had an abysmal test match in my view, gave a ball or selected a ball which was almost like 40 or 50 overs old. So their 10-over ball was replaced with a 40, 50-over ball.
Helping England.
And for an hour, it was doing nothing. It was absolutely flat. And, that I feel has also cost India big time. And you have to ask the question, what on earth was he trying to do? Change a ball which was 10 overs old, which was working, and they picked up 3 or 4 key wickets. And, at the end of the day, I think, that also went against him. A lot of the players were frustrated with that decision, and I think a lot of the fans were unhappy. And you've got to ask the question: is the Duke's ball fit for purpose? Because in this series, it's proven there's been so many stoppages and ball changes that I think it's a total fiasco. The Duke's ball are not fit for purpose. And we've still got 2 test matches. Of course, they're not going to change the ball, mid-series. But I think it's a valid point. And, in this test match, there were so many stop-starts. I feel as if the umpires had no control. And, it was almost like the players dictating the terms and doing what they want.
Umpires were rubbish.
So
no grip on the game.
They had no control over the game.
Yeah, I mean that ball change, like England are the ones who do it the most. They try and cheat, and they try and change the ball. But India were trying to do it. Gill, I think Gill's still a young captain. It's like his 3rd game, so he's going to make mistakes. He's going to learn. Like in game 1, DK said he was following the ball, so he's making his mistakes. He's done brilliantly in the 2nd test match. Obviously, he failed in this test match, so he'll learn from that. And
he needs to stay calm and not. He needs to stay calm and not be aggressive. And I felt, by being aggressive, and the rest of the team, they lost the advantage. They had the momentum in their favour, but I'm afraid, when things got a little bit heated up, and other players got involved, Siraj got involved, and a few of the others.
Yeah, that aggression was good.
I felt as if they lost some of that control and momentum, and that was their own doing. They didn't need to change the ball, and I wasn't happy with that. The irony is that Bumrah has played, 2 matches so far. Unfortunately, India have lost both of them, and so at the end of the day, Stokes, with his batting and his bowling ability and the picking up key wickets, I feel that at the end of the day, with Jofra Archer, who was the X factor, I feel that England deserved the win, and India, were asked to chase 190, and they were unsuccessful and failed to chase a small total. All it needed was each player to get 20 runs and a couple of partnerships, and they would have got to the total. They had plenty of time. They had the overs. They had the weather. They had the crowd. But unfortunately, they couldn't. They couldn't play under that pressure. A couple of rash shots, and I think this was a key Test match where they could have been 2-1 ahead, going to Manchester, and
should have won all three.
A lot of the crowd left, frustrated, and in my view, it should have been 2-1 up. India should have been 2-1 up. It's instead of the other way around, where England are 2-1 up now.
Should have been 3-0. India should have won the first game as well. England played out of this, the skin to win that first one.
They had the opportunities and the chances, but it didn't happen. So.
But you said Archer, he got a wicket on his third ball. He was coming in with the first Test match in 4 years, coming in with the pace. I like Archer, I have to be fair. I actually like Stokes as well. As an India fan, I love Stokes' aggression, his Bazball, his partnership with Brendo. And I like the way at the end of the game they went up to Siraj, showed some respect. I love that aggression that India showed, the fire when Gill, at the end of day 4. When they're going up to Crawley, wasting time just to get one over in 7 minutes. So I like the fact that Gill, Bumrah, they're all clapping them sarcastically. India have brought their aggression since Gangu and Kohli.
I should have intervened and said, look, we know what your game is, and we're going to go over the time and give you 2 overs, because what Crawley was doing was absolutely unacceptable.
Yeah, Crawley's an idiot. Crawley, if you're watching. I like the way you came up to Siraj at the end, but what you did to waste time, that was unsportsmanlike, you know what I mean? And even if it was orders from Stokes, I don't care if it was orders from your captain, you do what's right. But India shouldn't come to that. They shouldn't come to that level of, they were saying, Atherton was saying India maybe were wasting time on now is their turn. They shouldn't play their game as well. They should just do what the right thing is. But I like how India have aggression now. Siraj, they don't just roll over it's like the Ashes series. This series is just as big as the Ashes series now.
Well, it's a situation that we've had 3 Test matches, and during the 3 Test matches, it's India who's won more sessions than England. But I'm afraid the current results do not reflect that, and it's England who are 2-1 up. So the point I'm making is India had the opportunities. They've done the hard work. They won more sessions, and the outcome hasn't been in their favour. So they need to learn again. There's still a question mark over the number 3 position, Karun Nair, who's batted there. They said they were going to give him another opportunity, and of course he scored 30s and 40s. But number 3 position is a key position. Somebody who gets in needs to go on and score big. So up to now, Shubman Gill has been doing that job. But when he fails, who else is going to do that job? Rahul did that here, got 100. But again, he got out, after getting 100. He didn't go on. And who else is capable of scoring in the middle and getting a big partnership? So going forward, they've got to look at the team selection. We know in England there's going to be definitely one change for the next Test match, because unfortunately Bashir is out of the series with a broken finger.
I like Bashir though.
And Liam Dawson has been brought in into the squad, for their spinner, and are likely to play because he played in the pre-series against Zimbabwe, and he did pretty well.
I thought Bethel was going to come in. He's a way better try bat as well.
Bethel is in the squad, but I think Dawson gets the opportunity. I do rate him. He's 35 years old, and he's having a good domestic season. So I think they'll bring him in, and Archer will probably. He says he's fit to play the next 2, so they will probably retain him, and let's see. What team India put out for the Test match at Old Trafford, which has to be a must-win game for them, going into the last Test match at the Oval. So it'd be interesting. We got a 7-8 day break now coming up, so let's hope that Pant is is going to be fit and able to play. Jurel did a good job behind the stumps, but of course he was unable to bat to cover Pant. So let's see if he's fit enough, and we go from there. And
I'm just coming. Keep talking.
Yeah. So we look forward to the next Test match commencing at Old Trafford on the 23rd of July, and let's see what changes India make for that one. I'd like to see Kuldeep Yadav play a part in this series. He hasn't had the opportunity so far, so depending on the wicket, as I said, with Bumrah playing, they've been unlucky and not been able to win those particular games, but hopefully they can come out and play better and overcome some of these issues.
Well, I have to say as well. I said it was on the fifth day. India needed 192 to win, and they were 58 for 4 with Akash Deep. He didn't really count his night watch run, but I said to Dad on the next day, I said, Dad, I made a bet with you, didn't I?
You did.
I said £50 India will win. So, and then we made a deal. So obviously India didn't win. So here's on camera, yeah. Here's the money that you won for that. So you gain something from England winning, but Dad has the perspective of like the more of a pessimistic view, whereas I'm more hopeful. But I think it could, if it wasn't for that last dismissal where Siraj was extremely unlucky, I don't think it was his fault. You can't blame him. India would have won. There was 22 runs. They could have pulled through.
Yeah, I'd rather not have accepted the £50 and see India winning this game because when he was 58 for 4 overnight and Akash Deep's wicket, Stokes bowling him in I think 2 balls left, and it meant that you knew that the first hour was key, and unfortunately we lost both Rahul and Pant in the first sort of half an hour, and the game changed there. So there was 60 down, but one thing I was very disappointed that the way India were chasing that total, it felt like there was no intent. The only person who showed any form of intent was Pant, but apart from him, all the other batsmen were just sitting ducks, because it was only a matter of time before there was a ball with their name written on it, and that's exactly what happened. You can't leave it to Bumrah and Siraj to score 90 runs, when the other 8 batsmen were unable to score the 100 runs between them. Frankly, that is not good enough.
Jaggi batted brilliantly, but even though he was quite slow, but he still stuck in there.
That's not good enough. And the way England win these games is by showing intent, and although that they didn't play baseball cricket in this particular Test match, usually they're going at 4 to 5 runs and over. This Test match they were only able to achieve 3 to 3.5 runs, but they still ended up on a winning note without playing baseball. So you have to take a leaf out of their book and say they must have done something right to end up on the winning side here, because that is not the way they play. I believe the first innings total of 387, which took them 112 overs to reach, was the slowest.
India.
England's total of 387, 112 overs was the slowest since McCullum took over, but it demonstrates that they can win matches, even playing this style of cricket.
But I was surprised. I don't understand why they. I don't understand why they switched to not playing baseball. I don't understand
the conditions didn't allow them.
But they've won. Stokes' approach is very positive, and I like it. So they've won they've won a lot of games. I think he's probably won most games as captain playing baseball.
Don't forget, this is a game they've usually where they chase, and on this occasion they weren't chasing and decided to bat first. So I think this is only like the third or fourth game, since McCullum has come into charge.
It's the second game.
It's the second one, very early, where they decided to bat first. Most of the other games, they've always chased. So this was something different for them, but they come out with the right result at the other end. So we look forward to Manchester, and hopefully we can remedy some of these shortfalls, and they must not be repeated. Management need to get in there, speak to the players, and it's a lot of it is common sense. They don't need to be taught these things. In that situation, players need to recognise, what form of cricket they need to play, whether it's defensive or attacking. I just wish a couple of other players had played some attacking shots. They all play in the IPL, and I'd rather see them having a go and making the shots rather than defending, because by defending I knew that eventually it's not going to go in their favour, and I'm afraid it proved to be the case.
Is that why you didn't believe in that they were going to win?
No.
If they played positively, would you have thought they were going to win more?
Because they didn't show any intent.
So if they showed intent, would you have not betted against them?
If they showed intent, then it would have been England who would have needed to do something different. Instead England just kept on attacking with 10 players around their back, and all they're doing is picking up the wickets because no runs were coming.
Yeah, no, but the question was, would you have not bet against India if they played like the IPL, like Jaiswal does?
Well, I felt that the way they were playing, just defending, wasn't right. There has to come to a point where you need to attack and let England then do the changes. It was England in control on the last day. As soon as Rahul and Pant got out, basically, the game was over. And
maybe that's the difference with Gautam at the helm as opposed to Ravi. Ravi was a very attacking. Dravid, although he was a defensive player, I think as a coach, he advocated for the attacking play. Whereas Gambhir, I'm not sure. Maybe they play a more defensive game under him, but. India have played really well in like the 3 games. They were saying on commentary that India have gone toe to toe stuff with England, and it's the changing of the guard. Considering that they've done really well, they've dominated most sessions. But like I said, there's no point dominating sessions if you come out on the other side. Yeah. So
there's no point dominating sessions and then losing the game. At the end of the day, you've got to get the balance right. Of course, you need to defend when you need, and look at the game situation. But there's times where also you need to attack. If you're chasing a low total, a 30, 40, 50 run partnership between 2 players can change a game very quickly. And I'm afraid there's nobody in the 10 batsmen, apart from Pant, which leaves 9 other batsmen, who are prepared to come with that sort of mindset. And that was disappointing for me. There are players capable of scoring quick runs. We've seen them do in the IPL, but, it didn't happen. So
let me ask you to wrap up here. What are some positives you saw from India? Key positives from this game that you like to see.
The key positives from this game is again, India had England, if I remember, at 250 for 5 and first innings, and when that ball change happens. I think the aggression and so on, Cast went on to get 50 runs, and England were able to add another 100 runs from 250 to almost 360 to 380, and that 100-run difference at the end, I think, cost them the game. And so they need to learn. They don't need to be always following England's aggression, but. Mindset. I am aware he's a young captain, but there are other senior players on the field he should consult too, who can have a
KL Bumrah.
KL is in the team.
Bumrah's
there.
Captain.
Pants there. He should seek to get some advice.
You didn't answer my question.
Yeah.
I said key positives from India.
Key positive from India is that you know, the bowling is working well, and they managed to get the 20 wickets, but you know, it's the batsmen, I think, who are letting them down, and we need some more batting power, I think.
I think the bowlers are letting them down. Well, Bumrah's bowling, Bumrah's out, Deep's bowling well. The batsman collapses because they're getting in the positions, but they're giving it away. That's the problem. So, you know, they're not capitalising on their position. I think Mr. Dhoni would tell them, he always uses that word in the IPL, capitalise. If you get in a winning position, you've got to capitalise on that. You can't give it away.
At the start of this conversation, I said India were in control of this match, and they're the one who relinquished their winning positions 2 or 3 times. They were in total control. Momentum was with them. But as I mentioned, what happened in the first Test match, very similar instances, they managed to, you know, give up that control, and momentum shift went in England's favour at key moments, and I've mentioned those key moments.
Okay, so you told me one positive, which is India got 20 wickets. Give me one more positive from this game that you saw from India.
Well, the one positive is Rahul getting his 100, and you know, I wish that 1 or 2 other players who got in also managed to score big. If it's a low-scoring game, you know, the wicket was prepared, obviously in favour of England after their loss, and going forward, I like to see what the wicket is going to be at Old Trafford, and you know, that's what teams who play at home have got the advantage in terms of they can prepare wickets to suit their own team selection and so on, which is what England are going to do. So India, you know, need to learn quickly and look at the conditions and decide to play, you know, accordingly. But they need to pick the conditions of the wicket very quickly, and the team selection have to be correct too.
One thing I want to say is I like Siraj. Like I touched on it, I say I like Siraj's aggression when he barged Duckett. So Duckett, if you're watching, don't fuck around with the Indians, you know, because you think you can walk all over them, but they'll come for you. You know, it's not like the old days. Ganguly changed it, like I said, Kohli changed it. Now they got aggression. Yeah. Bumrah has some aggression to him as well. So you'll get it given right back to you. You can't just, you don't think you can just walk over, you know, India just because you think they're soft, because you've seen that they can match you just as well. So even though they got the demerit point, who cares? I like that you've done that.
Yeah, the positive thing with India is they've got a number of players, you know, who can win the Test matches for them, and they're playing well as a team, and they just need to make a few adjustments and make the key decisions at the right moment and carry on. When they're in a winning position, they must not let the advantage go and give up their wickets, which has happened here. As I mentioned, the run out of Pant was key, you know, just before lunch with Stokes. It
was a brilliant run out.
It was a brilliant run out, but, you know, I think that run out, frankly, I think will change the outcome of the whole series, not just this Test match. And that's what they need to avoid. They're in such a good position there. You know, in my view, they should have gone on to get a lead of 60, 80, 100 runs, but it didn't happen. So
final, just wrapping up, obviously just change it for the next game. I still think Kuldeep should be playing. Other changes, obviously Deep has to retain his place after 10 wickets. He didn't do much in this game. Reddy, I'm not sure about. He got a couple key wickets in the beginning, but he failed with the batting. How can he only get 13 of 53, even if he shows some intent? Washington also failed. You know, I don't think he's all that. They've got way better all-rounders. I'd rather play Hardik Pandya than him. The only reason why he's playing is because he's played Test cricket before. And India, you know what the selectors are like. If they played Test cricket before, they'll just bring them in. India have got such an abundance of players, all-rounders. You know, even players like Rinku Singh. You know, like all this wealth of talent, like Varma, all this wealth of talent. They could bring them in. You know, from the IPL. Arshdeep's there waiting in the wings. You know, I think the team isn't the best team. Sai should come in instead of Nair.
Arshdeep is left arm pace bowler, so you know that will give him something different, and maybe it's time to change it because like England did. Gill got used to the bowlers getting the big hundreds as soon as Archer comes in. Jaiswal and Gill fell. So maybe it's time to change the pace bowlers and introduce Arshdeep, introduce Kuldeep Yadav into the team. And make a couple of changes where they will be forced now to make the changes to get back into the series, because if they lose this one, the series is finished.
They can stop making the samosa and pakora and start actually playing in it. He's always bringing the drinks on, isn't he?
Yeah. So we look forward to catching up next time. But for now, it's over and out. Thank you.
Cheers, guys.